Okay, so we have the Tower of Unspoken Words. There are some more, but I think that I'm going to go with this one actually. These are just my meditations that I've written over the years. So, the Tower of Unspoken Words. The story part. Once long ago, before she learned to sip silence like tea, the Hatter found herself in a strange and solemn part of Inner Wonderland. A place not marked on any map, but etched into the edges of every heart that had ever swallowed words it wished it had spoken. The air here was heavy, not with sound, but with the weight of all that had gone unsaid. The path was lined with vines like twisted tongues curling and knotting around the stones. The ground murmured under her boots, a muffled hum like someone trying to speak with a hand pressed over her mouth. At the end of the path stood a tower, tall, crumbling and crooked. It was built from letters never sent, words choked back and truths buried under fear or politeness. Smoke coiled at its base like a tired dragon, and it hissed with the echoes of phrases once held too tightly inside. The Hatter hesitated. She felt the old familiar squeeze in her chest, like a snake had wrapped itself around her ribs. But something inside had changed. Perhaps it was the quiet courage she had found at the Grove of Grounding, or the mirror clearness from the marshes. Either way, she stepped forward. Inside the tower, a spiral staircase of brittle paper wound upward. Each step creaked with things like, "I wish I'd told you. I never meant to hurt you. I'm still afraid. I miss you." As she climbed, the tower began to moan and groan, as if each step weakened its very foundation. The air was thick with held-back cries and laughter that had withered before blooming. Halfway up, the Hatter found a door with no handle. Instead, there was only a mirror. She looked in and saw herself, not as she usually appeared, but how she looked when she stayed quiet to keep the peace. Her shoulders curved inward, her voice was tucked behind her teeth, her heart was beating, but quieter than it should. She touched the mirror, and the door opened. At the top of the tower was a circular room with no ceiling, just sky and wind. There stood a small stand, and upon it a single feathered quill and a scroll. But when she picked up the quill, no ink appeared. "Your voice is the ink," whispered a breeze, "but it must be free to flow." And so the Hatter did what she hadn't done in a long time. She spoke. She said all the things that she hadn't, all the truths, all the pain, all the dreams, all the songs she had hummed instead of sung. She told the sky, she told the wind, and she told herself, and the tower trembled. It cracked, it crumbled, it fell, not violently, but like a sigh released after being held too long. She didn't fall with it. A new platform grew beneath her feet, woven of light and laughter, clear tones and warm resonance. Around her rose a new tower, not of silence, but of truth, not of smoke, but of starlight. And it glowed, a beacon, a lighthouse for all those still trying to find their voice. The Hatter stood tall, her chest open, her words flowing, not loud, but true. She knew now that a voice wasn't just sound, it was freedom. And her voice, steady and full, would help others remember their own. And then it leads into the meditation. So I will leave it there for now. It's not a long meditation at all, but I'll come back to it. But yes, that is the Tower of Unspoken Words. And this is one of my healing sessions.